So sticking with the topic of video games, mine is going to be, what has been your biggest disappointing moment with gaming? For like buying a game that you saved your money for, like even as, like for my stories, I was a little kid, saving up all my allowance and stuff, going into the store, looking at the 64 games, all of them. So I'm seeing, Mario 64, Banjo-Kazooie, GoldenEye. I pick Superman 64. By the way, worst game ever made. I don't care.
I had that game too.
I don't think a game has pissed me off in the shortest amount of time since Superman 64.
Remember the fog?
Yes, you mean the background of the entire game?
Mm-hmm.
Or how about the broken flying controls, the bad graphics, the misspelled congratulations screen if you beat the game as well?
Dude, I seriously, this is my experience with that game. I would load it up, I would fly around for a bit, I'd be like, this sucks.
Until you ran out of time?
No.
Yeah, you had to go through the rings.
I would do that for a little while, and then I would go back to the main menu. I would do the cheat to get me to the last level, and then I would do the cheat to give me all the abilities, and then I would just beat it, and I'd be like, yay. And then I never would play it again. I would do that, every, 5 years.
I hate... That game is, no matter what game comes out, that is going to be the worst game ever made for me, and the biggest disappointment I've ever done in a game. The thing that has almost turned me off from buying new games ever again. It wasn't until Kirby 64 came out where I was like, okay, now I can buy a game again.
You want to know why everything in that generation have to be named
64?
after the console? Sorry, go ahead.
Ocarina of Time. They didn't call it Ocarina of Time
Zelda
64.
Exactly.
Why wasn't there a Zelda 64?
Because they knew how to name video games.
The good games.
Yes. They knew how to name video games.
007, GoldenEye.
What a game.
What a game.
What a game. Star Fox 64.
They tried to remake it and it just didn't work out.
I love that game.
No, I like that.
Do you see there's a game that's based around, it's kind of the same multiplayer as GoldenEye, but it's based around
Yeah, it's
screen
called
looking?
Call of Duty.
No, but it's based around screen looking.
Yes.
Everybody's invisible and you have to look at their screen to find out where they are.
That seems like
so that you can shoot them, yeah.
I like that.
It's neat.
It seems
Is that an
really
alpha right
confusing,
now?
though.
I don't know, I think it's on the computer. Might be an early access.
Because all you have to do is spin around in circles and they're never going to find out where you are.
Well, it's still in a complex, in a building, so.
Then you just be a dick and no one's ever
Yeah.
Seems like a really easy way to win all the time.
No, to lose all the time.
That's not a very good way
because
to...
then they never know where you are and they can't shoot you.
And then you can't shoot them.
Yeah, and you just have to sit
No,
there.
because
and,
you're going to have the advantage because you will know where they are before they know where you are.
But this is going to be the other thing. If you're just standing there...
talking about?
If you're just I'm going to win, so I'm just going to stand here and spin in a circle... Then you're gonna be sitting there holding your controller you guys are never gonna get me while they're all having fun oh,
because you know where you're standing. So when they're walking around,
How do you know where you're standing?
Because you have eyes.
But you're spinning around, so you won't be able to tell.
It requires you to know everything on the map though, because that's how you.
So you're prefacing it by saying that you have to know where you were not on the map.
Get out of your house.
Let's say everything correctly, my friend. Preface.
That was my idea though when you first said that, is just do this.
Yeah,
right?
just look down. What else would you do? You just sit there with the controller. I'm gonna get my phone.
And lesser people who know how to play that game, that don't know, excuse me.
We're already experts at this game.
I'm already an expert, so I spin around in circles and wait for you to walk right past me and then shoot you.
And I'm just looking at the ground, and the two other people are like, "You guys fucking suck."
Kick from all.
Why did I decide to play this with you guys?
So mostly unrelated. You know what's hilarious? Taking an N64 controller and giving it to people who don't know things about video games.
Yeah.
That controller
and
is
they're
so...
See, that's weird though, because I really liked that controller. I really did.
Yeah, but
why does it have a third
What's the middle thing for? Are you supposed to hold it like this, or are you supposed to hold it like
That's
this?
how you play 007!
Yeah, no, like Zelda, dude, it's all here.
Yeah.
I know, but what's...
It's only Tony Hawk where you would use the left one.
You gotta have that Z trigger for Zelda.
Still, it's weird.
You can't do without that, man. You ain't good at playing Zelda till you use the C trigger.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
I wish I could just grow a third arm out of my chest so I could play it properly.
Please do not do that.
I tried that once, because I do have a third arm.
Did you rub some weird lotion on your chest to get it to grow?
No, I just...
Or some
No, we just have to move past this.
Something?
Just trust me.
My
I don't know.
penis.
The hammer is his.
I didn't know if it was going to get it.
Oh. I like putting two and two together, you know.
Two penises?
This is not conducive to conversations. We should stop.
Do you guys watch The League?
Yeah.
No.
Remember the 3 penis line? No. Taco, like you're the worst.
I love it when people do that. Do you watch the show? Yeah! Do you remember this part?
No.
No.
You're an idiot. I don't know what you're talking about. I really
That
don't
makes me
remember that.
Can I move the
Oh.
nose cap over?
No, Taco's the one guy who does drugs all the time, and he takes the other character to this like weird Asian place and gets this wine. He's like, oh yeah, 3 penis wine. They mix up the penises of these 3 animals, and then you drink it, and it's like a super Viagra. It's hilarious.
So I'm going to define your topic a little bit more, because last week we had disappointing gaming experiences, which correlates to this.
Okay.
So I want to say, what were you the most hyped for that disappointed you the most, right?
Assassin's
So like,
Creed
what did you
Unity.
save up money for to buy?
Okay.
Like, what was the biggest? I don't know. I don't know how to change that
No,
from last week's topic.
I know what you mean, but Assassin's Creed Unity, like, I was so hyped for that game. I'm like, it's gonna be awesome. You can go in buildings, a new Assassin's Creed on the PS4. I loved Assassin's Creed 4. Can only go up from here, and then they just launched
that's
a
your
broken as
mistake
fuck
right there.
game.
See, if you're talking the build up and disappointment, it has to be Evolve for me.
Really?
Yeah, because Super N64 was just me being a dumb kid and picking the wrong game on the shelf because it looked like it was based on the animated
Does that
series.
make you as sad as Evolve though? Like,
Oh no,
that-
no! Superman
were you a-
64 is still the worst thing I've ever
Yeah.
put in a console.
Evolve is a big one. So overhyped games maybe.
Alright.
Halo. Call
Which
of
one?
Duty. All of them. All of them except the first one. I just think they're all overrated.
I like Halo 4.
I enjoyed 4. Yeah.
Yeah.
4. 3 was pretty good.
I mean, I think like 1 is important. Like, it's a very important game. Halo 1.
Is it more important than the first Half-Life?
No. Well, they're similarly important. Because the first Half-Life was like a big thing for PC gaming and for like single player and like
And for like the
looks
amount
at
of
the time.
loading screens in one game?
Hey, Half-Life 1's fun.
It is great fun.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that's
No,
the
yeah,
one
yeah.
thing that I poke fun at.
Man, I have a bunch of answers to this question.
But like especially for like matchmaking and like online matchmaking, Halo, the first Halo is like a big
Halo
I
is
can-
awesome.
Alright, Aaron, I'll modify it a little bit.
Okay.
That the first experience that started to turn you into that jaded gamer.
Oh, there we go. That's the way to word it.
Because back then I was a kid, like every game I got, I loved because I didn't pay for them. They were just gifts or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you save up the money.
Well, then you start trading in games.
that I did that.
Right. Have you ever traded in a game where you were like, oh my god, I can't believe I traded that in?
Yep.
Yeah.
Which one?
Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
How much is it worth now?
It wasn't worth. Well, now since this came out on the Xbox and PS3 for download, it dropped in value. But at one point, it was up to like $100 and something bucks.
Jeez.
I traded in. It wasn't like because it's worth more. I traded it in because I didn't think it was fun, and I just found myself wishing I'd played it more.
See, that was me with Marvel.
Wolfenstein.
The original?
No, so not the new one that came out just now.
Yeah.
But the one before that came out on the PS3 and the 360. It was like it wasn't the greatest
See,
game.
that one you can also say is guilty pleasure because it didn't do that well.
Yeah, no, I mean it wasn't great, and I mean I still haven't bought it or played it since then. But like I played it a little bit, and I'm like, this game's okay. I'd rather get something else. And then I traded it in, and I was like, I kind of still wish I had Wolfenstein because it was a fun shooter, and it wasn't like killing Nazis with like magic weapons. I mean, Mecha Hitler's always.
I have not what turned me into a jaded gamer, because I still like almost everything that I play, which is not a good thing because I play everything. Also, because I play PC games a lot, I don't own a console, so I don't trade games in, So, anyways, though, one of my biggest, there's two. One of my biggest upsets is Infinity Wars, which was never really big to begin with, but I talked to you about Infinity
Yeah,
Wars
I played
a lot
it a little bit.
because I was super big on Infinity Wars.
You were.
Yeah, I was huge on that game. Basically a digital trading card game that
We'll get there.
Digital trading card game, kind of like playing Magic, that had a lot of really interesting gameplay because you played your turns at the same time, and then you both hit go, and then it played out your turns in the order that you played the cards, right? So there's like attack, defend, right? And you have monsters here, monsters here. You can play a card that kills all the creatures in the attack zone, but if you move all your creatures to the defense zone, they blow a card, right? They would waste it. So that had a lot of really cool interactions like that, and it was really picking up steam, and I like invested tons of money and was like, this game is awesome, it's gonna get super big.
Do you mind if I ask?
Yeah.
How much is tons of money?
Probably $500 to $800.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I played it. I was. This kid can speak to it because I was huge on that game for like 4 months.
Huge.
I have like almost 1,000 hours in that game on Steam. It's insane. Yeah, you know. Okay, you've seen it.
I
Yeah.
played TM2 that much, so I know.
Yeah, but I put all that time into the game
Played
in a month.
Too.
That wasn't a month, bro.
Jeez.
Yeah, I was big on that game. Anyways, the people who played or ran the game and like was working on it were like, yeah, we're gonna do like big competitive. We're gonna get into like esports type stuff, and they were just kind of just dragging their heels all over the place, and it just kind of got to the point where it was just like. They're promising all this stuff, but it's not happening, and it's not happening. Like there's no forward progress. So I was just like, yeah, I gotta get out of here. And then I sold all my cards for $600, and that was sweet.
So you kind of like broke even.
Yeah, basically. Yeah,
That's good.
yeah.
At least
That
the
was
cards
the
help
upside.
value.
Well, because I knew that it was not going to do well, so I kind of and
That's
I
lucky.
play a lot of trading card games, so I know how to build value on the collection that you currently have. So I did a lot of that, and I had a lot of really like good value cards. So I got rid of them.
Good for
when
you.
I did that, yeah.
That could have been a big loss.
Yes. Yeah. The other one was Rift. Although that game is still
I wanted
pretty
to play
popular now. I thought that game was going to be huge. And I played the heck out of that game. I thought that game was awesome. I still think that game is great.
Play Aeon.
I know. I never did.
I never did either, but that was another one of those like WoW killers that went nowhere.
Yeah, because Rift was like, and this kind of goes into like some other stuff that we'll talk about later, but the gameplay in that game I loved, and it has still to this day has the best class design. Like my favorite style of class design in any game that MMO I've ever played.
Rift.
My favorite MMO class design was EverQuest 2 at launch.
Yeah.
Yeah, that game was sick. Basically, you started out as like an archetype, like I'm gonna be like a ranger, or I'm gonna be like basically like a ranger, a fighter, or a thing, and then there was like good and evil were the two like factions more or less, and you would pick for each archetype. There were two like specializations you could be. Depending on which faction you were, and you had to do this quest where like you would go learn about like whatever magic you were kind of do, and you would have to do this whole elaborate quest to be able to specialize and do it. It was so cool.
Yeah. I mean, are you familiar with the class design system in Rift?
Not Rift, no.
Okay, so it's really awesome. There's 4 main classes, right? So there's cleric, there's mage, there's warrior, and then there's ranger. And then for each of those individual classes, there's like 8 different skill trees. And you can have 3 skill trees active at one time. And then you get X amount of points to put in those skill trees. So you can customize however you want. So if you want to be a healer, you can be a mage, and they call it chloromancer, because that's what the tree is, with like offshoots of 2 other skill trees that can complement the original skill tree. And then they just, like that healing is so much fun. Like that, still my favorite class, other than a warlock from Mountain that I've ever played. Yeah, it's awesome.
Peter, is this gonna be a game that made you jaded?
Oh no, it was a game. I thought we were still on the whole like games we were
Or you're hyped for?
Yeah, I was so hyped for that because I love Aliens vs Predator and stuff. And then Aliens Colonial Marines came out, and
now that game was in the news because they showed off a bunch of the game that was pre-rendered on a like a
E3
super nice
trailer,
PC or something, and then the game came out and it was so different.
Yeah.
And they got like sued.
Yeah, they got sued because like the level of work that they put into the game wasn't what like Sega had wanted or something, and they sued because the game was so bad.
Yeah, it's crazy. Now and then, did you play Isolation at all?
I have. I haven't gotten much far after when you meet the alien for the first time because this is scary.
You don't like scary games?
No, I love scary games. I'm just a really big pussy about it.
How's PT?
Yeah, I beat it. In the first sitting I played of it, I beat it.
PT?
Holy shit, though. I almost died.
Okay.
PT. So,
We're doing it.
Alright.
Yep.
I'm
That's,
down.
yeah, you know what? I don't want to tell you
Tonight?
anything about it.
Okay. I'm down.
Not again.
We
We did this last week.
Oh, did you really?
With David Jansen.
I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah. Oh man, I think we should have one person from the podcast every week play PT.
Oh god.
How did he react to that?
Awesome.
Really?
Yeah. It was fantastic.
God, that game wrecked me
Yeah,
for like
for
a
sure.
week. Like,
My story of that game is I couldn't sleep 3 o'clock in the morning.
I don't like where this is going.
I know. I didn't know that Kojima talked about it at E3. I didn't know any of it. Right.
Oh,
I went into my news feed. Somebody from work liked this thing called PT, and I was like, "What is that?" Right? Because it's the picture of the woods with the PT in it. And I was like, I don't know why I clicked on it, but I did. Right. Clicked on it, and it was 1.4 gigs or whatever, like a big download, decent sized download, and it was free. And I was like, why the fuck not? So I clicked on it, right? Waited for it to download. And then it's like, it loads up, it's beautiful looking, but it's like this dark, dingy room, like this size of this room, but there's a door in front of you, and you wake up on the ground and you get up, and then you're just like standing, right? And it's like, it wants you to go through the door. And I'm like, what the fuck is this game?
Yeah.
And so you go through it, and then you get in this hallway, and I won't say anything more, but that's
Yeah.
and then I played through the game, and I was like, what the fuck is this game?
So pretty much this. I mean,
I thought it was The Ring. I thought I would get to the certain point and something would come out, and like I was gonna die.
Yeah.
It was like, there's no point to this game. I think I'm gonna die.
This is what happened for me. I was on Reddit, and I was looking at the Silent Hill subreddit, and it's like, go download PT on the PlayStation Network if you have a PS4. And I'm like, okay. So I went and I got the game because it was free, and I started it up and I played it a little bit, and I got to the part where you are, and I'm like, all right. And then I went a little further, and I'm like, all right. And then I'm like, I'm gonna wait. And then one of my friends got home. I'm like, guys, come hither. We're about to play a game.
Exactly.
And then we just played straight through it.
The next night, I was like, okay, Becca, you're gonna play some.
Without spoiling, how long did it take you?
Because you beat it, right?
Yeah, we did. Getting to the end took us maybe like 45 minutes, and then the ending took us
like
about
trigger
30 minutes. Yeah.
That's the thing. Okay.
No. Another
we
game.
can't talk about it anymore.
But there's a different game.
Oh, we can talk about different
we can talk about
games.
different
Yeah.
No. Okay.
Are you gonna stay?
Oh, I'll stay for
Okay.
that.
Have you played Slenderman?
Oh, Slender.
God.
You know
That
what?
game is sweet.
With the exception,
Similar vein.
I hate that game.
with the exception of PT, I think
Did it make you
the
freak
other
out?
scariest
No, it's not
game right now is
scary.
Outlast.
That freaked me
Outlast
the fuck out.
scared me.
Yeah.
Slenderman just did nothing for me. And it did for so many people. And I wanted to be that part of...
A lot of it is like audio.
Yeah.
Like if that sort of audio like freaks you out, because like stuff jumping at me doesn't usually freak me out, because I'm just like, boom. Like, yeah,
You're that guy?
I'm that guy.
Fight or flight?
Well, like
fight.
I'm pause for a second,
Have you
register
played-
what's going on, and then just no.
Have you played
Yeah.
Five Nights at Freddy's?
No.
You should
See,
play
that
Five
game's not
Nights at
scary
Freddy's.
either.
It still freaks me the fuck out because I'm a pussy about all that sort of shit. But
I was watching
Slenderman,
Let's Plays,
dude.
and
I was
it's
like,
rough.
see,
no, I cannot do this.
See, that's why I hold PT to such high regard, is because I would hear about Five Nights, I would hear about Slender, I would hear about Outlast,
Amnesia,
and Amnesia, and I would want them to be PT, and they weren't. And I was like, all right, not all the door closed. Oh, go.
You know the best thing about PT is I hope that all future PS4 games start looking like PT.
Yeah.
I almost don't want
that's
to
the
play
thing.
this game.
Here's my question about it then. How did you play PT the first time? Was it on your TV sound, or were you wearing headphones?
Headphones.
Okay. Did you play all the other games with headphones?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. See, that's the thing, is because when I get a scary game, because I love scary movies, I love scary games.
Yeah.
So I will make it an experience.
Yeah.
I'll wait
no
until
lights.
night. I'll turn the lights up. I'll put my headphones. I wanted them to be PT, and then I played PT.
I think it's because you played PT
Well,
first.
I think it's because you
Me?
played PT first.
Not you.
No. I've never played it, but
No,
it
you
sounds
should.
worse.
No, that's the thing.
It
You
sounds
have to
worse
have
than
the
other
controller.
ones. Yeah.
You have to have the controller.
Oh, does the controller make it worse?
No, it's
Yeah,
just
because
it's a
you're in
controller.
control.
Yeah, you have to control it.
All your
Yeah,
focus. All your focus is on the screen.
Just-
you
I
with
mean,
the controller.
it's just a game.
Be a grown up.
I'm gonna play it.
Okay.
I have no
Just
fear.
don't punch my TV.
I promise.
But I think the issue is that you played PT first, because like
I didn't
when
play PT first.
I thought you said you did.
Before those other games?
Yeah.
No.
That's pretty much.
Oh,
what
that's
you
what it
said,
sounded
because
like you were
wanted them
saying.
to be-
Yeah,
You wanted them to
all
be PT.
Okay, I meant it figuratively.
Like,
I meant
at the time when you played them,
when I
you
played
wanted them
PT,
to be...
I was like, yes, this is what I want.
Oh,
This is what I wanted
right.
all the rest of these games to be.
Exactly.
Okay,
I wanted
okay.
those games to be like PT.
And see, I've been like on the cutting edge of scary game thing since Penumbra came out. So Penumbra Overture was the game by the first game by the studio that made Amnesia.
Mm-hmm.
And they made this series of games, and I'm like, alright, I'll get it. I like scary stuff. And then I started, and I'm like, well, this is literally the most terrifying thing I've ever done. And then I got Amnesia, and I'm like, okay, this is literally the most terrifying game I've ever played. And then the same thing with Outlast, and then PT. Alien Isolation is scary, but it's not as scary to me as PT was.
Oh, nothing will ever be as scary as PT.
Except
Unless
maybe
PT.
Well,
Silent
it was
Hills.
his.
But does that make you excited, though, for Silent Hills?
Excited.
It's gonna be
Although I
great.
did hear that they are deciding whether to make it first or third person.
Oh, I
And
hope
if
it's
it was first person, I would be so excited. And if it was in that, like, could you imagine that game if it was a haunted house, right? Like, and it was more than just that.
I think that'd be cool. I don't want it to be that. I want it to be like a world, not like a house, but like that game. The game that you're describing could be cool.
Right?
Yeah.
I like that it was contained. But how many of those good ideas can you keep going for a full release, right? They had that amount of time to, like, perfect. It was like the vertical slice they show at E3, but, like, that's all there is, right?
Yeah.
So the game, I'm going to finish off Jaded Gamer by saying Assassin's Creed 3 was the first time where I had been playing video games for a big part of my life, and I finally realized that there's lazy developers out there, right? And that they really want to pump those games out to make money, and it really disappointed me. And that's when I finally became like, I'm going to now look at games and be like, are you trying to fuck with my time right now?
Yeah.
Did you really put time into this, or are you just trying to make $1 million? And that was the first one. There's so many glitches in it, and I couldn't play it.
I guess, so to have a thing that's on topic and very similar to yours, when I was a kid I played EverQuest, because my parents played EverQuest, and I was like, I want to play a computer game, and they're like, okay, so I did.
Mm-hmm.
And when it started, EverQuest was like, it was hard. It was like really hard. Hello. It was like,
Thanks.
like original WoW kind of hard and stuff. Because like in order to meditate to get more mana back, you had to actually sit. Like you had to sit and open up your spellbook, and then you would get mana back, but only that way. And so like it was really hard. And as the game went on, they made improvements, like necessary improvements.
Yeah.
And then the game company that ran it sold the game to Sony. Now I love Sony, and I love PlayStation and all that, but Sony Online Entertainment kind of took EverQuest, and they're like, this makes money, so let's just pump out as many expansions as we can, as fast as we can, and just kind of say, fuck it, to the cool world and all the cool lore that had already been established. And it just kind of made me really sad, and then from then on, I'm like...
Assassin's Creed 3 made me sad.
Yeah,
it
it's
was
like
the opening of my eyes and saying, like, this is a business.
Yeah, like, I like with some things, I think yearly installments are kind of cool. Like the Telltale games, and the fact that, you know, like, they can do one every so often because of how they do it. I like that.
That's a great point.
But I think that games take time, and I don't necessarily want to see a new Assassin's Creed every year.
Right.
Like, every 2 years to make a better game would be fine.
That could be really cool.
Yeah.
And I actually, I played Call of Duty this year, and the campaign was okay. I never messed with the multiplayer, but the campaign was okay.
Yeah.
Was it because of Troy Baker? I don't know, maybe. Because they have three developers now, they each get 2 years, so it's kind of on a 2-year development cycle. Maybe those games will be good now.
Yeah, it's like,
but again, they're still trying to pump. They're still trying to pump them out once a year.
It's like the reason that the music genre died for gaming, because I mean, Rock Band 2 came out, and they did everything right. They're like, all right, we have the music store. We're gonna put out games every now and then. Mm-hmm. Rock Band 3 came out like 2-3 years after Rock Band 2 did, and it was fine. But Activision's like, oh, so we're gonna jump in on this with Guitar Hero and just make everything, and it was like game, like every 6 months.
But are you talking about like Aerosmith?
Yeah, they had like
Metallica.
Wasn't that Guitar Hero though? And
yeah, it was.
Rock Band?
No, I'm saying, but it's like Rock Band did it right, and then Guitar Hero came in, and they're like, we're gonna make Guitar Hero 3, and then Aerosmith, and then
Metallica,
AC/DC, Guitar Hero rocks the '80s, Van Halen.
Yeah, it was just like
Band Hero, Guitar Hero 4, Guitar Hero World Tour. Yeah, too many games.
They just need to make
Rock Band 4, and it's gonna be perfect.
a game.
It is.
And then
I know, I'm so excited.
Release a new game when it needs to be updated. Because you can't patch those games, technically speaking.
That's
like
the problem.
The core gameplay is not
like for the
good
music
enough.
Games?
Yeah, like I mean,
well, that's what they're trying to do with Rock Band 4.
If it needs a better engine, you release a new game, not because you want to sell more content. And I think this happened mainly because it was before digital download content became a big thing. So they kind of continued doing what they were doing instead of just saying, I'm going to release a game that's going to have a set of stuff, and then we're just going to wait a while before we release the next one, just make a bunch of DLC for it.
That's what Rock Band 4 is going to be. They're touting it as, instead of being like the next installment, it's the new platform for Rock Band games.
And that's what it should have been. Like, you want it to be a new platform, you don't want it to be the same game over again, but just different songs.
Mm-hmm. So you have Rock Band.
Because then people have to pull discs out of their consoles every once, like whenever they want to switch to a different song, whereas you have a platform, and then all your songs are DLC.